You're 74. You wake up, swing your legs off the bed, and feel it again. The heaviness, the stiffness, the dull ache in your knees. You stand up, but slower than yesterday, and every step feels like a quiet defeat. You assume it's just aging. Everyone says that's normal after 70. But what if it's not? What if something on your plate is quietly stealing the strength from your legs every single day? We often talk about heart health, brain health, even skin and vision. But do you know what starts to fail first? Quietly, invisibly, as we age, your legs, not just because of time, but because of food. In this video, we'll explore 5 common foods that may be destroying your leg strength after 60, without you even realizing it. You'll hear the stories of seniors who struggled for years, thinking it was just age, until they made one change and started walking better, standing taller, and feeling steady again. Because your legs don't fail all at once. They weaken silently, and what you eat each day may be speeding it up. Let's begin. Refined carbohydrates. White bread, pasta, crackers. Frank is 71. He walks with a cane now. But 5 years ago, he was still hiking with friends. The decline wasn't sudden. First came the muscle cramps, then the swelling, then the fatigue after just 1 block of walking. His doctor ran tests. Everything looked fine. They blamed age. But then a nutritionist looked at Frank's food journal and saw the real problem. White bread, pasta, salted crackers. Every single day. These refined carbs may seem harmless, but here's what they do inside your body. Cause chronic inflammation, especially in joints and lower limbs. Spike your blood sugar, leading to insulin resistance. Increase fluid retention, which causes swelling in feet and ankles. Provide empty calories, filling you up, but not feeding your muscles. Worse, they displace the nutrients your legs need to stay strong, like magnesium, potassium, and B vitamins. Over time, this leads to weakness in your quads and calves, slower recovery from walking or climbing stairs, balance issues, and more falls. Frank replaced his white bread with sprouted grain toast, his pasta with lentils and roasted veggies, his crackers with raw almonds. After 3 weeks, he didn't need afternoon naps anymore. After 6 weeks, the swelling was gone. And after 2 months, he walked to the store without his cane. For the first time in a year. Yellow circle, what you can do. If refined carbs are a regular part of your meals, cut white bread, processed crackers, and instant pasta. Replace with high-fiber grains. Quinoa, oats, sprouted bread. Add leafy greens and legumes. Real fuel for your legs. Drink water. Carbs bind to water, and excess leads to swelling. Your legs aren't weak because of your age. They're starving for better fuel. Sparkle's deeper truth. What you eat at breakfast can determine whether you walk confidently or carefully by dinner. And if your legs are your foundation, then your plate is where that foundation begins to crack or to rebuild. The hidden salt that's crushing your circulation. Evelyn is 76. She used to wake up every morning with swollen ankles. By evening, her shoes barely fit. And her legs felt heavy, like she was walking through water. She thought it was just poor circulation. Her doctor said, "That's normal at your age." But the truth was hiding in her kitchen cabinet. She didn't think she was eating too much salt. She didn't add it to her meals. She barely touched the salt shaker. But when her grandson read the labels on her healthy food, it told a different story. Low-fat soup, 900 milligrams of sodium. Deli turkey, 1,050 milligrams. Cottage cheese, 450 milligrams. Heart-healthy crackers, 720 milligrams. By noon, Evelyn had already consumed over 2,500 milligrams of sodium, more than a full day's recommended limit. And what does excess sodium do, especially after 60? Collision, what salt does to your legs. Narrows your blood vessels, reducing oxygen flow to your leg muscles. Increases blood pressure, which stiffens arteries and impairs recovery. Promotes water retention, especially in the lower body. Triggers cramping and numbness, especially during or after walking. The result? Legs that feel heavy and tired. Morning stiffness. Pins and needles. A higher risk of falls due to numb feet or unstable steps. Hopso! This isn't just theory. A 2021 study from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that seniors with high sodium intake had significantly poorer leg strength and slower walking speed than those who stayed within limits, even if they looked healthy. Evelyn made one change. She cut processed foods and started cooking more from scratch. In just 2 weeks, her ankle swelling improved. By week 4, she could walk around the block without stopping. And for the first time in years, she didn't need to elevate her legs every afternoon. Yellow circle what you can do. If your legs feel swollen, stiff, or crampy, check sodium content on labels. Aim for no more than 1,500 milligrams per day. Avoid deli meats, canned soups, boxed meals, and packaged diet snacks. Add potassium-rich foods, bananas, spinach, sweet potatoes. Season with herbs, lemon, garlic, or vinegar instead of salt. And hydrate. Dehydration worsens sodium's effects. Sparkles, deeper truth. Your legs rely on blood, not just bones, and what flows through your veins is shaped by what you put on your plate. You may not taste the salt, but your legs feel every gram of it. Pause for a moment. Have your legs become something you worry about more than you talk about? Do you sit down slower than before? Avoid stairs? Hesitate to go for walks? You might think, it's just age. I should accept it. But what if the problem isn't time? It's something you're still eating. Let's look deeper. The dairy habit that's causing inflammation in your joints. Lorna is 73. She loves cheese. Greek yogurt in the morning. Cottage cheese for lunch. A bit of cheddar in the evening. Her diet looked clean. Low sugar. Lots of calcium. But her knees told a different story. She had chronic joint pain. Her legs ached when she stood up from the couch. Her ankles were stiff after sitting for an hour, and every doctor said the same thing. It's just osteoarthritis. Until one day, her granddaughter, a physical therapist, asked, "What if it's not just your joints? What if it's what you're feeding them?" DNA, the inflammation connection. Here's what many seniors don't know. Some dairy products, especially in processed form, contain proteins like casein and whey that can trigger low-grade inflammation in sensitive individuals, especially after 60, when the gut lining becomes more permeable, the immune system becomes overreactive. The body loses tolerance to certain foods. Result? Even healthy dairy can increase inflammation in the knees and ankles, cause stiffness after sitting, trigger joint swelling and discomfort during walks, interfere with nutrient absorption, especially magnesium and vitamin D, and it doesn't happen overnight. It builds up, slowly, silently. Lorna stopped all dairy for 3 weeks, just to see the results. Her morning stiffness decreased by 70%. She walked longer without aching. Her knees no longer locked up after meals. She later reintroduced small amounts of goat cheese and fermented kefir and found they didn't trigger the same pain. Yellow circle what you can do. If you suspect dairy is affecting your legs, try a 2 to 3 week break from all dairy. Milk, cheese, yogurt, ice cream. Replace with plant-based calcium sources. Sesame seeds, broccoli, almonds. Use unsweetened oat or almond milk for coffee or cereal. Track symptoms. Note when you feel stiffer or more inflamed. This isn't about fear, it's about awareness and testing what your body can still handle. Sparkles deeper truth. We're told to drink milk for strong bones. But after 60, it's not just your bones you need to protect. It's your joints, your movement, your freedom, and sometimes the food you trusted the most. are the ones your body quietly outgrew. The sneaky sugar that's weakening your muscles. Paul is 70. He doesn't eat candy, no soda, no cakes, no cookies. But every morning, a fruit yogurt. Every afternoon, a granola bar. Evenings, a glass of healthy juice. He thought he was doing everything right. But his legs? They were saying something different. Paul began to notice. More cramps after walking. Sudden fatigue when climbing stairs. Dead legs, feeling after sitting for too long. Doctors said his muscles looked fine. Blood work was within range. But he didn't feel fine. And then he learned a hard truth. He was still eating sugar, just wearing a health halo, warning the muscle sugar crash. Hidden sugars are everywhere in senior-friendly products. Fruit yogurts, breakfast cereals, nutrition bars, flavored oatmeal, juice labeled 100% natural. Even healthy servings can deliver 20 to 30 grams of sugar, spiking blood sugar and crashing insulin within hours. Why is that bad for your legs? Because muscles rely on steady energy and blood flow. Sugar spikes cause inflammation in muscle tissue, insulin resistance, reducing nutrient delivery, rapid fatigue and recovery delays, higher risk of losing lean muscle mass, sarcopenia. A 2020 study published in Aging Cell found that older adults with high sugar intake had 25% lower leg muscle function compared to those who consumed less than 25 grams daily. It's not about how sweet it tastes, it's about what it does after it's swallowed. Paul made 3 changes. Switched from fruit yogurt to plain Greek with berries. Replaced granola bars with raw nuts. Traded juice for herbal tea or lemon water. Within weeks, his afternoon crashes disappeared. His legs felt lighter during walks. And for the first time in months, he stopped needing to sit down halfway through grocery shopping. Yellow circle, what you can do. To stop sugar from weakening your legs. Limit added sugar to less than 25 grams per day. Read labels. Anything ending in ose, glucose, fructose is sugar. Avoid low-fat products. They often add sugar to replace taste. Choose protein-rich snacks that support muscle repair. And hydrate. Sugar dehydrates muscles and worsens fatigue. Sparkle's deeper truth. Sweetness on the tongue shouldn't lead to weakness in the legs. And just because it's natural, doesn't mean it's not silently draining your strength. The everyday meat that's silently destroying your blood flow. Diane is 79. She always ate well. Eggs for breakfast, ham sandwich for lunch, meatloaf for dinner. She stayed active, walked daily, tried to stretch. But over the years, she noticed something. Her feet began to tingle. Her calves ached after short walks. And when she stood up too fast, her legs felt weak. Like they wouldn't hold her. She thought it was poor circulation. Her doctor called it normal vascular aging. But the truth was on her plate. Diane was eating processed meat 2 to 3 times a day. Ham, bacon, deli turkey, sausages. Even her lean meats were full of saturated fat, nitrates, and preservatives. What do these do to your legs? Prohibited how processed meat harms leg strength. Narrows arteries, reducing blood flow to lower limbs. Triggers chronic inflammation in blood vessels and muscle tissue. Increases homocysteine levels, which weaken blood vessel walls. Disrupts oxygen delivery, leading to muscle fatigue and cramping. When your legs don't get proper blood supply, they tire faster, heal slower, lose strength over time. A study from Circulation Research found that older adults with diets high in processed meats had 30% more vascular stiffness, a key risk factor for reduced mobility. Diane didn't stop eating meat. She just changed the kind. She switched to wild salmon, skinless chicken, lentils and beans twice a week, and only occasional, small amounts of unprocessed red meat. 3 months later, she walked 3 miles without calf pain, and her balance? Steadier than it had been in years. Yellow circle, what you can do. If you rely on processed or fatty meats, replace with lean proteins, fish, turkey, beans, tofu, eggs. Limit red meat to once or twice a week. Avoid anything smoked, cured or with long shelf life. Add foods that improve blood flow. Beets, garlic, leafy greens. You don't need to go vegetarian. You just need to stop feeding the fire that burns through your strength. Sparkle's final reflection. Your legs are not failing you. They're responding to what you eat, to how you move, to how you care, and the moment you change what goes on your plate is the moment you start rebuilding from the ground up, because aging doesn't steal strength. Habits do, and the good news, habits can change. Subscribe to Speech Balloon Longevity Talks Herb for more real stories, science-backed tips, and the strength to age on your terms. And if this video helped you rethink your habits, leave a comment with #StrongerLegs, so we know you're walking this path with us. You deserve to stand tall for many years to come.